Hello, as we give you a peek of what our sermons are going to be about on Sunday morning as we gather together with one another. Of course, as always, we'll be singing with one another to encourage one another, be praying with one another, we'll be reading the Word of God. We'll take the Lord's Supper together with one another during the 9 o'clock hour. And the lesson in the 9 o'clock hour is going to be really the final part of a trilogy of lessons on the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15. 2 weeks ago, we looked at the prodigal son who wandered away and how he came back and what we learned from that. Last week, we looked at the older son, how he too was a prodigal, but he too had the possibility to come back. And whether we are people who just wandered away from the Lord completely or sometimes very deceptively, we are still with the Lord, but we're really not with the Lord. There's hope in both those cases. But there's another character that's found in that story, and that is the father. There are a lot of parents who are struggling because their children are prodigals. They're not where they need to be spiritually, and parents hurt, and parents in the church hurt. And I think there's some help and some hope that's found within that text as we look at the father's life. So I hope you'll join us there at the 9 o'clock hour. At the end of the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have Bible classes for all ages, and we'd encourage you to come and stick around. And then at the 11 o'clock hour, Noah's going to preach.
Yeah, so during the 11 o'clock hour, I'm going to be speaking about, I call it our other options. And the idea is taken from Joshua chapter 24, where he lists some of the other options that the people of Israel who have just conquered Canaan had, other gods that they had the option of worshiping, but really they didn't compare to the Lord. And he says, y'all really need to make a commitment here to worship the one true God. And so that's what I'll be speaking on is the desire that God has for us to make him our one and only option.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Anything else?
Thank you guys so much for joining us here. I hope to see you guys there on Sunday.
Okay. God